Nobody expected Cardi B to go this far, but when she finally snapped, she didn't hold back, she didn't soften her words, and she definitely didn't care who was listening. She said she wanted Offset to die, not quickly, not peacefully, but slowly, suffering, thinking about her every second. Let that sink in. This wasn't a lyric. This wasn't a joke. This was a real, raw, emotional explosion that sent shockwaves across the entire internet in seconds. Fans froze. Celebrities went silent. And insiders? They started whispering something even darker. Because according to multiple leaked reports, what Cardi revealed that night wasn't just anger. It was years of betrayal, manipulation, secret threats, and a level of emotional warfare that nobody saw coming. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. What if she didn't just say it out of rage? What if she meant every single word? What if there's something happening behind the scenes so toxic, so dangerous, that this wasn't a breakdown, but a warning? Because once you hear what she claims Offset did behind closed doors, you might start asking the same question everyone else is asking right now. Did he push her too far? Or is this just the beginning of something much worse? Before the explosive rant, before the shocking death wish, before the internet spiraled out of control, there was a love story that looked untouchable from the outside. But behind the luxury, the fame, and the headlines, something darker was already building. When Cardi B first met Offset, it wasn't supposed to end like this. It was fast, intense, almost reckless. Two massive personalities colliding, two rising empires merging, and for a moment, it felt like they were unstoppable. Fans saw the chemistry, the energy, the way they looked at each other like nothing else in the world mattered. And then came the moments that made it feel real. Secret marriage, public proposal, a family built under flashing cameras and screaming crowds. It looked like a fairy tale, but it was never that simple, because almost immediately cracks started to show, and not small ones. We're talking about cheating rumors that didn't just stay rumors. We're talking about leaked videos, public apologies, and humiliations that played out in front of millions. At one point, Cardi walked away completely. She told the world it was over. Done. Finished. But then he came back. Flowers. Public apologies. Grand gestures designed to win her back in front of everyone. And somehow it worked. Again. And again. And again. That became their pattern. Break. Explode. Reconcile. Repeat. But every time they came back together, something was different. The love felt heavier. The trust felt weaker. And the damage? It didn't disappear, it stacked. Then came the turning point that insiders now say changed everything. The divorce. Not quiet, not mutual, not clean. This was war disguised as paperwork. Behind the scenes, sources claim the relationship had already become toxic long before the public knew. There were allegations of constant arguments, control issues, emotional manipulation, and moments where things reportedly got so intense, people close to them started distancing themselves. But what pushed Cardi over the edge wasn't just the past. It was what started happening after the separation. Because instead of fading away, Offset allegedly became more present, more unpredictable, and, according to whispers online, more desperate. There were claims of non-stop messages, late-night calls, voicemails that went from emotional to aggressive to something far more disturbing. Some insiders even claimed he couldn't accept the breakup at all, that he was watching her moves, tracking who she was with, reacting to everything. And then came the accusations that truly shocked fans. Cardi allegedly claimed that private moments, things that were never meant to be seen, were being used against her. Leaked, shared, weaponized. Not confirmed, but talked about enough to spread like wildfire. And suddenly, this wasn't just a messy breakup anymore. This was something else. Something darker. Meanwhile, publicly, things were falling apart in ways nobody could ignore. Missed time with kids, financial tension, arguments spilling onto social media. And then the move that reportedly sent Cardi into a rage, so intense it changed everything. Offset asking for money, spousal support, from her. Let that sit for a second. After everything, after the accusations, after the chaos, he was now asking her to pay him. To some fans, it looked like desperation. To others, it looked like manipulation. But to Cardi, it looked like betrayal on a level she could not ignore. And that's when something inside her snapped. Because this wasn't just about love anymore. This wasn't even about respect. This was about control, about power, about who was going to break first. And according to people close to the situation, Cardi wasn't just hurt anymore. She was angry. Not normal anger. The kind of anger that builds over years. The kind that waits. The kind that explodes when one final line is crossed. And when she finally went live, when she finally said those words that shook the internet, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from everything. Every betrayal. Every rumor. Every late-night fight. Every moment she felt disrespected, ignored, or used. And now the question isn't just why she said it. The question is, what exactly happened behind closed doors that made her feel like saying it was justified? Because if what insiders are hinting at is even partially true, then this story isn't just about a broken relationship anymore. It's about something much deeper, something far more dangerous. And what happened next would take this entire situation to a level nobody was ready for. The night everything exploded didn't start with chaos. It started with silence. No warning, no buildup. Just Cardi B opening a live session, thousands joining in seconds, expecting the usual energy. But what they got instead was something nobody was prepared for. Her voice sounded different. Not playful, not controlled. It was heavy, shaking like someone who had been holding something in for way too long. And then, she said it. Not hinted. Not implied. She said she wanted Offset to die slowly. The room went silent. Comments froze. People thought it was a joke, a moment of exaggeration. But then she kept going. And that's when everything changed. Because this wasn't just anger. This was a full breakdown mixed with something much darker. She started revealing things piece by piece, like someone who didn't care anymore about keeping secrets. She talked about betrayal, about feeling watched, about emotional damage that, according to her, never stopped even after the relationship ended. But then came the first twist that flipped everything. According to what she said on that live, Offset wasn't just moving on. He was allegedly trying to control her, even after the breakup. She claimed he had been sending messages behind the scenes, not just to her, but to people around her. And not normal messages. Messages designed to humiliate her, to expose her, to break her mentally. At one point, she hinted that private moments between them, things that should have stayed locked away forever, were being used like weapons. Let that sink in. If true, that's not just messy. That's calculated. That's personal. That's war. And the more she spoke, the more it felt like this wasn't just a rant. It was a confession of everything she had been dealing with behind closed doors. Then things escalated even further. Because she didn't just accuse him of emotional damage. She suggested something far more disturbing. She hinted that there were threats. Not direct, not clearly stated, but enough to make people uncomfortable. Enough for fans to start asking, what is really going on here? Social media exploded instantly. Clips went viral within minutes. People started choosing sides. Some said she went too far. Others said this was a woman finally speaking her truth. But then, another twist hit. And this one made everything worse. Because while Cardi was going off, Offset didn't respond. At all. No tweet. No post. No denial. Nothing. And that silence? It started raising questions. Because in a situation this big, silence doesn't feel neutral. It feels intentional. It feels like someone is waiting. Or worse, like someone already knows something we don't. But here's where things took an even darker turn. Because according to a now-deleted insider post that started circulating right after the live, this wasn't the first time things had gotten this serious behind the scenes. The post claimed that there had been multiple private confrontations, moments where things allegedly got so intense, people had to step in. And if that wasn't enough, there were whispers that what Cardi revealed was only a small part of the story. That there were things she still wasn't saying. Things too dangerous, too personal, too damaging to put out publicly. Now, whether those claims are true or not, one thing became clear that night. This was no longer just a celebrity breakup. This had turned into something explosive, something unpredictable, something that felt like it could spiral out of control at any moment. Because when someone reaches the point of saying something that extreme publicly, usually means one thing: they've already been pushed past their limit. And if that's the case, then the real question isn't just what she said, it's what made her feel like saying it was the only option left. And just when people thought it couldn't get any worse, the next wave of reactions started coming in, and what those reactions revealed made this situation even more dangerous than anyone imagined. Within minutes, the internet turned into a battlefield. Clips of Cardi B's rant were everywhere. Not just trending, dominating. Every platform, every feed, every comment section. People weren't just watching anymore. They were reacting, exploding, taking sides. Like this was a war they had been waiting for. But here's where things took a turn nobody expected. Because while fans were still trying to process what she said, a new wave of leaks started surfacing. And these weren't random posts. These looked intentional, calculated, timed. The first one hit X like a bomb. A thread claiming to come from someone close to the situation dropped screenshots of alleged messages. Messages that, if real, completely changed the narrative. According to the thread, Offset had been sending emotional voice notes for weeks. Not calm ones. Not peaceful ones. We're talking about messages that swung from begging to anger to something that sounded dangerously obsessive. One alleged message read, "You think you can just walk away? After everything? You're not moving on without me knowing." Now, whether that message was real or not didn't even matter anymore, because the internet believed it. And once the internet believes something, it spreads like wildfire. But then came the second leak. And this is where things got even more disturbing. Another account claimed that Offset had allegedly been reaching out to people Cardi was connected to, not to talk, but to interfere, to insert himself into her life even after she tried to move on. And suddenly, Cardi's rant didn't sound as crazy anymore. It started sounding like a reaction, a response to something ongoing, something relentless. And just when you think that's the peak, another twist drops. A short clip surfaces. Blurry, shaky, but enough to spark chaos. The clip allegedly shows a heated argument, voices raised, a male voice that people online immediately claimed sounded like Offset, and a woman yelling back. No faces clearly visible, no confirmation. But the damage? Already done. Because now people weren't just talking about a breakup, they were talking about control, obsession, and something much darker beneath the surface. Meanwhile, celebrities started reacting. Some subtle, some not. A cryptic post from a well-known rapper read, "Y'all don't know what really be happening behind closed doors, stop judging so fast." Another one simply wrote, "Pray for both sides, this deeper than y'all think." And just like that, the narrative split in two. Half the internet believed Cardi was finally exposing the truth. The other half believed she had gone too far, crossed a line you can't come back from. But here's where things got even more intense. Because just as the situation was reaching its peak, Offset finally moved. Not with a statement, not with an apology, but with something far more confusing. He posted a single message. Short, cold, and almost emotionless. "Y'all don't know the real story." That was it. No explanation. No defense. Just that. And instantly, everything flipped again. Because now people started questioning everything. What real story was he talking about? What wasn't being said? What was Cardi leaving out? And more importantly, why didn't he deny anything? That silence followed by that vague message felt like a warning. Like there was another side of this situation waiting to be exposed. And then insiders started hinting at something even bigger. Something that hadn't gone public yet. Something involving legal action, possible recordings, receipts that could either destroy Cardi's claims or completely expose Offset in a way nobody could recover from. And now the tension wasn't just online anymore. It felt real, like something was about to drop. Something that would force one side to collapse completely. Because at this point, both of them had too much at stake. Reputation, money, family. everything. And when things reach that level, people don't just argue anymore. They escalate. And just when it felt like we were about to get answers, another wave of reactions hit. And this time, the entire industry got involved. At this point, it wasn't just drama anymore. It was a full-blown cultural explosion. The moment clips of Cardi B's rant went viral, the internet split into two aggressive sides, and neither side was backing down. On one side, you had people saying she finally exposed everything, that this wasn't just anger. This was years of pain, betrayal, and emotional damage boiling over in real time. Posts started flooding timelines. Y'all calling her crazy, but ignoring what she went through. If even half of what she said is true, I don't blame her. This ain't hate. This is trauma speaking. And those voices? They were loud, relentless. But then came the other side. And they were just as intense. Because for them, there was one line you don't cross. And they believed she crossed it hard. Wishing death on someone is not okay no matter what. She went too far this time. There's no defending that. Say what you want, but that was evil. And just like that, this wasn't a discussion anymore. It was a war. Fans arguing. Clips being reposted with different narratives. People editing videos to make their side look stronger. And then, the celebrities stepped in. A few stayed neutral, posting things like, "Prayers for both. This situation is sad all around." But others? They chose sides. One artist posted, "Y'all don't know what women deal with behind closed doors. Stop acting shocked when they finally snap." Another one fired back almost instantly. "That don't justify saying someone should die. Oh, we losing the plot." And now, this wasn't just about Cardi and Offset anymore. This was about something bigger. Respect. Boundaries. Accountability. And how far is too far when someone feels pushed to their limit? Meanwhile, media outlets jumped in fast. Headlines were aggressive. Clips were replayed over and over. Every word dissected. Every pause analyzed. Experts started weighing in. Relationship coaches, legal analysts, even psychologists, trying to break down what happened like it was a case study. Some said Cardi was showing signs of emotional overload. Others said it looked like calculated exposure. And a few suggested something even more uncomfortable, that both sides might be hiding things, and what we're seeing is only the surface. But while the public argued, something strange started happening behind the scenes. Because suddenly, people close to both sides started going quiet. No new posts, no reactions, no defense, nothing. And that silence? It didn't calm things down. It made everything feel worse. Because in situations like this, silence doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like pressure building, like something is about to explode. And then came a statement that changed the tone again. A source claiming to be connected to the legal situation dropped a message that spread like wildfire. This situation is far from over, and when everything comes out, people are going to be shocked who they support. That one line, that one warning, was enough to shift the entire conversation. Because now people weren't just debating what already happened. They were bracing for what's coming next. Receipts, recordings, proof. Something that could completely flip the narrative again. And suddenly, everyone started asking the same question. What is being hidden? Because if this is how chaotic things are with only partial information, then what happens when everything is exposed? And just when it felt like we had reached the peak of the drama, another piece of information started circulating quietly, not trending yet, not confirmed, but powerful enough to change everything if it turns out to be true. And if that final twist is real, then this situation isn't just messy. It's about to become something nobody can control anymore. Just when the entire internet thought this story had reached its absolute peak, everything flipped in a way nobody saw coming. Because late one night, while the headlines were still dominated by Cardi B's explosive rant, an anonymous account dropped what they claimed was leaked audio that could completely change the narrative around Offset. And within minutes, it went viral. The audio was distorted. The voices were low, but the internet was convinced it was him. A male voice, allegedly Offset, was heard saying, "I ain't never think it would go this far. She turned everybody against me. Even my own circle, they watching me now." And then came the line that sent chills across social media. If something happened to me, just know it wasn't random. That was it. No explanation. No context. Just fear, paranoia, and a warning. And suddenly, the entire conversation shifted overnight. Because now, people weren't just asking why Cardi said what she said. They were asking something much darker. Is Offset in danger? And if he is, from who? Because insiders immediately began connecting dots that had been ignored before. The divorce war, the financial pressure, the public humiliation, the industry tensions, the casino shooting incident. It was starting to look less like a messy breakup and more like a situation spiraling completely out of control. Then another twist. A so-called industry insider posted a thread claiming that multiple people close to Offset had quietly distanced themselves in the past few weeks. No public announcements. No drama. Just silence. And according to that thread, it wasn't random. It was intentional. They know something, the post read. They don't want to be around when it all blows up. Now, whether that's real or not, nobody can confirm. But here's what made things even more disturbing. Fans began revisiting Cardi's words again. Not as emotional outbursts, but as something else entirely. Something calculated. Because if you listen closely, she didn't just say she was angry. She described him as a dark cloud. She said he destroys lives. She said people around him never check him. And now, with these new leaks, people are asking a chilling question. Was she warning us? Or worse, was she preparing us? Meanwhile, Offset has gone completely silent again. No posts. No responses. No denial. And that silence? It's only making everything louder. Because in a situation like this, silence isn't peace. It's pressure building. And here's the part nobody is ready to say out loud. If this situation keeps escalating the way it is, this won't just stay as social media drama. This could turn into something much bigger. Something irreversible. Because you've got two powerful figures, a history filled with betrayal, millions of dollars at stake, and now whispers of fear, revenge, and something lurking behind the scenes. So now the real question is no longer, why did Cardi say what she said? The real question is, what happens next? Because if these leaks are even partially true, then this story isn't ending anytime soon. It's only getting started. Now I need you to really think about everything you just heard, because this situation is far from simple, and the truth might be way darker than what's being shown on the surface. Do you believe Cardi B was just speaking out of pure anger and heartbreak? Or do you think there's something deeper behind those words that the public isn't fully seeing yet? And what about Offset? Is he really the person being painted in this story? Or is there another side that hasn't come out? I want you to go down to the comments right now and tell me, was Cardi justified? Or did she go too far? Is Offset the victim? Or is there something he's hiding? And most importantly, do you think the situation is over? Or is something even bigger about to explode next? Because if these leaks, these reactions, and these silences mean anything, we could be looking at the beginning of one of the most shocking celebrity breakdowns we've ever seen. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because the next update, it might change everything.